I've done night security gigs before. Empty warehouses, office parks, even an abandoned zoo once. I know the sound of quiet. I know weird. But this place is different. It doesn't want a guard. It wants a witness. The job ad said, overnight security, government adjacent site, must follow protocol, $30 per hour, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. No interviews, no background check, just a number to call and an address. Desperate, I took it. The building is buried deep in the woods, past a chain-link gate and a stretch of road that looks forgotten. The facility is made of concrete and rust, 3 stories above ground and at least 2 below. There are no windows, only a loading bay and a front door marked Facility 12. A man named Dover met me at the entrance, pale, gaunt, looked like he hadn't slept in days. "You're the new guy," he said. No handshake. He led me inside without small talk. Security office is on floor 1. Don't leave it unless you have to. And don't explore. This building isn't like others. I thought he was just weird, until he handed me the list. Rules for night security, Facility 12. Check all monitors every 20 minutes. If one is black, do not attempt to fix it. There is a hallway on sublevel 2B labeled Records Overflow. It does not exist. If you find yourself there, return to the elevator immediately. At 2:14 a.m., someone will knock on the lobby door. They will look like you. Do not let them in. Do not drink from any water fountain after midnight. If you hear a phone ringing, answer only if it's from line 7. If a filing cabinet is open, close it. Do not look inside. If the lights go out and you're not in the office, hide. Never speak Dover's name out loud, not even alone. I laughed. Dover didn't. You follow the rules, you survive the night. That's the job. I took the paper. I took the job. And at 11 p.m., I took my seat in the office. It was quiet, still, until it wasn't. 12:03 a.m. Monitor 3 cut to black. I remembered Rule 1. Didn't touch it. 12:20 a.m. Phone rang. Line 5. I didn't answer. 1:11 a.m. Filing cabinet open in the eastern wing. I closed it. Didn't peek. 1:54 a.m. Power cut. Lights went out. I wasn't in the office. I ran. Down the wrong hall. Past signs I didn't recognize. And that's when I saw it. Records Overflow. I froze. The hall was long. Too long. Lit by dim red emergency lights that seemed to grow weaker the farther in you looked. And at the end, movement. A figure, walking toward me, or floating. I couldn't tell. I turned and sprinted back, retracing steps that didn't feel like mine. When the elevator came into view, the hallway behind me had vanished. Back in the office, I checked the monitors. Monitor 3 was back, nothing on screen. But I swear the hall looked longer than it had before. 2:13 a.m. The lobby cam flickered. A figure stood outside. It was me. I watched my own face stare into the lens. Eyes too wide, skin too pale. Then came the knock. 3 slow taps. Rule 3. I locked the door, didn't breathe. The knock came again. "Come on," my voice said from the other side. "You forgot something out here." I checked the feed. He was gone. At 6:01 a.m., Dover returned. "You made it," he said. I handed him the key card. "What is this place?" He didn't answer, just said, "If you return, there will be more rules." I told myself I wouldn't come back, but I did. And the next time, the rules changed. I didn't come back the next night, or the one after that. But something about that place lodged itself in my head. Not just the terror, the structure of it. Like someone had designed the fear. Like the building had a logic I hadn't yet learned. I needed money, sure. But mostly, I needed answers. Dover was waiting at the entrance like nothing had changed. No good to see you. No, you sure about this? Just handed me a new folded page and walked away. No eye contact, no noise, just the slap of his boots on the concrete. Additional rules. Facility 12, Revision 2. Room 413 is not always on the map. If it appears, do not enter without wearing ear protection. Do not engage with any figure sitting in room 413. If they speak to you, leave immediately and do not respond. If you hear your name whispered from behind a locked door, do not acknowledge it. Ignore any messages written on the monitors in red text. Room 413 was on the 4th floor, a level I hadn't seen before. The elevator panel only lit up to 3, but tonight, when I pressed the button, 4 glowed faintly. I should have stayed in the office, but the camera feeds flickered. Every monitor showed the same thing, a long hallway ending at room 413, so I went. The hallway was silent, air thick like syrup. At the end, room 413's door was cracked open. A yellow light spilled out. I took out the earplugs Dover left on the desk, slipped them in, opened the door. Inside, a single chair, and a man sitting in it, facing the wall. He wasn't moving, but I could see his chest rising, breathing. He turned his head slightly, and even through the plugs, I heard it. My name, my full name. He whispered it like it was something he owned. I backed out, closed the door, walked straight to the elevator. But the floor buttons were all off, just dark circles. Except one, B3, basement 3. It wasn't there before. I had no choice. The doors opened to a pitch black corridor, no lights, no signs. I held my breath, stepped out, and suddenly every monitor back in the office blazed to life on my handheld screen. Room 413. Again, same chair, now empty. Back in the office, I locked the door. The screen buzzed. Red text scrolled across the bottom. You shouldn't have heard him. I closed the monitor, waited for morning. Dover never showed. At 6 a.m., the door unlocked itself, and pinned to the wall, written in the same red text, "Next time, don't listen." I wasn't planning to go back. I really wasn't. But every night I stayed away, I dreamed of that whisper, my name, over and over. And when I woke, I could still hear it, faintly, as if the walls remembered it too. So I returned. Dover wasn't at the entrance. The door was already unlocked. A folded paper was waiting on the front desk, weighted down by a flashlight. Additional rules. Facility 12, Revision 3. If you are sent to basement level 3, do not linger near the vents. You may feel the building breathing. Do not mimic the rhythm. Do not match your breath to it. Do not turn off your flashlight for any reason below ground. If you find a room labeled triage, leave. Immediately. Do not speak. Do not run. Just leave. The elevator opened to B3 without being called. I stepped in. I didn't press a button. It closed on its own. The descent was slow, slower than it should have been. My ears popped twice. The digital screen on the panel flickered between numbers and symbols I couldn't read. When the doors opened, The air hit me like heat from an oven, stale and wet. The hall pulsed, literally, like it was breathing. The walls expanded, then shrank, not fast, not subtle. I aimed the flashlight at a vent. Something behind it moved. I kept walking. I tried not to breathe with it. Ahead, I saw doors, unmarked, closed. One of them had a smear of something dark just above the handle. I checked my handheld monitor. All cameras were black, except one. It showed a room labeled triage. There was a figure inside. I turned around. The hallway was shorter than it had been. The elevator was gone, just wall. I kept moving. Another vent. This one dripped. I turned the corner and there it was. Triage. Rule 16. Leave. Do not run. Do not speak. I backed away slowly. My foot stepped in something warm. A voice from inside the room whispered, "Don't leave me here." I didn't answer. Back at the office, hours later, the flashlight finally flickered out, but only after the building stopped breathing. On the desk, the final camera feed buzzed to life. Red text. You breathed with it. If you're hooked on the mystery of Facility 12, drop your theories in the comments. New chapters release weekly. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. What do you think the building is? Haunted? Sentient? Something else entirely? Let's talk below.